Okay, I've started recording. Okay, well, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
About myself?
Yes.
Like what?
I don't know. What do you like to do? What do you do?
I'm a butterfly hunter.
That sounds interesting. So, what does a butterfly hunter do?
What?
A butterfly hunter.
What?
What does it do?
What does it do? It butterfly hunts.
How does it do it?
Well, first I hop on a plane and I travel over to Africa, in this case anyway, and in this instance I was hunting the rare invisible butterfly in the jungles of Whoop Whoop.
Have you caught it?
Have I caught it?
Yes.
Well, I have brought 5 of them back with me, yes. Alive.
What do they look like?
What do they look like?
Yes.
Well, I told you, they're invisible. How would I know what they look like?
Then how do you know if you've caught one if they're invisible?
I heard their wings flapping.
Oh. Are there many of these
You silly
invisible?
girl.
Are there many of these invisible butterflies around?
Oh, millions, absolutely millions and millions.
So they're not rare at all.
Oh, they're extremely rare. They're only found in this one jungle of Whoop Whoop.
Oh, and there's millions of them in this one jungle in Whoop Whoop.
Yes, only in this one jungle of Whoop Whoop.
So how does one get to Whoop Whoop?
And they are to be found within a radius of 2 to 3 miles.
And how did you come to knowledge of these invisible butterflies?
How did I? Oh, I just realised they were there. Nobody's ever seen them, you know. No, it came to me one day that there were invisible butterflies, and so I went hunting for them.
So one day you actually heard the wings flapping, and that was an indication to you that a butterfly was around and invisible.
Yes, I overheard their wings flapping, even though there were millions and millions and millions of crickets chirping that day.
I see. And how did you know that there were millions of them? Like, are you able to count them distinctively of the sound?
Yes, I could hear each wing flap, so I know that butterflies have 2 wings. And so whenever I heard 2 wings, I knew there'd be one invisible butterfly nearby. And then I heard millions of them, because I have devised an instrument to listen into these invisible butterflies. A very sensitive instrument that can pick up a wing flap a mile away.
So how would you present these butterflies to the world? So others can also experience?
Well, they'll be displayed in museums, of course, across the country.
Well, how would we see them?
Well, not with the naked eye.
Okay, so would you be using something like infrared?
No, they're just simply invisible. You go and see them and you can hear their wings flap. You have to imagine what they look like.
Oh. So how big are they?
Possibly this big, but they could be that big. They may only be at that size. They're invisible, remember?
Oh, yes, of course.
You cannot expect a scientist to be totally accurate when looking at an invisible butterfly. It's a highly complex business.
Of course. One could only imagine so. And so what are the next steps or the next goals that perhaps even the next experiments that you might be conducting in regards to these invisible butterflies? Where are you going on here from the knowledge that you've already gained?
Well, I think, we've learnt some things about the invisible butterfly.
Yes.
That is, that they are invisible and cannot be seen. And so, on our next visit, we've decided to take a pot of red paint and throw it at the air in the hope of colouring one of these rare creatures and seeing what they might
So
look like.
would red paint not affect their wings at all?
Well, it could kill them.
Yes.
It may be highly toxic to an invisible butterfly. We don't know. We don't know what their chemical composition is.
And they're not protected or anything like that nationally or anything?
It's very difficult to protect an invisible insect.
Yeah.
Highly difficult. But we do know that last year they destroyed flower gardens all around Africa.
Out in Whoop Whoop
Yes.
of Africa.
Well, just outside of
And would you say that perhaps learning more about these invisible butterflies might be a valuable tool in our military, perhaps in the training of these invisible butterflies as spies?
Yes, exactly. However, we're not going to allow them to be, exploited like that at this stage.
I see.
At this stage, they'll just be kept in cages in the museum.
Yes, but that's definitely perhaps best to take away their freedom rather than give them military objections, of course.
Yes. We feel that might be just placing, too much stress on them as a species to expect them to suddenly become spies.
Yeah.
Travelling off to places like Russia and China.
Well, thank you very much.
Where the climate, mind you, is a lot cooler than they're used to.
Of course. Well, thank you very much for that and this invisible butterfly hunter, and we hope to hear from you again on our show, hopefully learning more and more about butterflies and that sort of stuff. So thank you again.
Thank you, and I hope that I have enlightened you on this subject.
Oh, very enlightened indeed. Thank you.